Good evening, my fellow constituents. It's your boy, Humorous February 14th, back at it again with a pro-capitalism article. You'll love to see it. This is courtesy of the corporate press, the controlled opposition of Fox News. ABC's The View addresses cease and desist letter from the Turning Point USA. We apologize. So, basically, to catch you guys up with this whole debacle, The View, if you are unaware, very, very, very pro-establishment propaganda piece for middle-aged women who think that everything in the world is wrong and screwed up, yada, yada, yada. We need drastic change. They were criticizing Turning Point USA, which is kind of odd from where The View is. I mean, to me, this is punching down. Now, hear me out. I know that Turning Point USA is a massively successful movement for conservatism, unfortunately for republicanism, but there is a lot of libertarian ideals within it, which is something that I do respect. It is not a monolithic party pushing thing. Whereas when you look at a movement like Black Lives Matter, for instance, it has been co-opted to just be a Democratic fundraising machine. All you're going to get is Democratic talking points. Whereas when you have Turning Point USA, they focus on freedom, but that is a sense of like the Thomas Massey Republicans and the Mises Caucus Libertarians, the ones who are basically right on everything. I'll die on that sword. So, with that being said, as always, it's a shame that these people have such a big platform and they have such a voice, talking about The View, where this is where they punch down. I mean, if you ask people what would they know, The View or Turning Point USA, I'm almost willing to bet whether you love them or hate them, everybody knows The View. Not everybody knows Turning Point USA. So, and they're not comparable. One's a show, one's a movement. You know, it gets kind of funky. It's comparing apples to oranges, but The View has the backing of the cathedral. They are the propaganda machine. Turning Point USA is just that. It's a movement. It's a counterculture of the cathedral's propaganda. So, well, it's a counterculture now. I guarantee you if this came out in 2001, they would be a very let's unalive the Muslims movement. But I don't know. They weren't, as far as I know, they weren't around in 2001, or they definitely didn't have the clout like they did in 2001. That's just a fun thought experiment. But The View called this a neo-Nazi movement. And you can just put the mark on your bingo card when we're talking about pro-establishment talking points, pro-cathedral talking points. What is the number one method you use to disregard your enemy or promote this idea that'll never make people believe them because you tell the point? They're Nazi. Ooh, that word has been so bastardized in mainstream media. I don't even know what a Nazi is anymore. I thought they were a National Socialist German Worker Party, but Party member, but who knows anymore? Everybody's a Nazi. Just say the wrong things, and somehow you are responsible for the Holocaust. So, with this article, I love it from a capitalism perspective. Turning Point said, "We will sue The View." And what does The View do? Apologizes. And this is the greatest thing for us in the anarchist, libertarian, even Turning Point movement, the pro-liberty movement. This is the greatest thing. When the mask slips, and we're talking people that can be brought out from the matrix, show them this. They have no conviction over the claims that they made towards these people. I believe that I am speaking. I swear to God, I hope none of you are Nazis. I'm not trying to say that you can't have your opinion. I'm just saying you're wrong and you're an evil person and an idiot. However, if Turning Point USA was an actual group of neo-Nazi movement, National Socialist, let's get rid of the Jews, and they say they're going to sue for defamation, and you apologize, where is your conviction? This is the proof you need. This right here. This is the proof to show the people that can be pulled out of the matrix. Look, you think everybody that's a Republican, right wing, whatever, somehow this fascistic Nazi. If you really believe that and you weaponize your cause, like if this was really Edward Norton's gang in American History X that we're talking about, you have the platform of The View. You would be able to make so much change and garner so much conversation and, for better or for worse, hatred and ostracizing these people for their deplorably evil views. But yet you backpedal. Once money's involved, you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. That was a little immature. How do I look at you with any... How do you report and try to shape societal views when you don't even believe the societal views that you push? This is why this is just a propaganda machine at the end of the day. The View is nothing more than propaganda. So it's just funny because you go through the article. I'm not going to go through this one as in depth as I did with the New York Times article, but basically there were, and I'm not saying that I know everything about this situation, but when you go through the article, they say that there were open neo-Nazi demonstrators outside of, the Turning Point USA that were very pro-Nazi. I have not seen any pictures of that. They claim that there was all these Nazis here. Where? That would bombard my news feed. And I'm not saying I've seen every single thing on the internet. I could just not be looking in the right spots. I have not even seen pictures of what they're talking about. And for these people to speak so openly and so confidently in their propaganda, these are Nazis. Okay, sorry we called you Nazis. There might have been a couple out there, but we know that they're not associated with your movement. this is what they want. And this is the sad thing. The people that buy into their propaganda don't care that they apologized. They take that piece of, there's neo-Nazis there, and they'll spread it everywhere. This is in a similar vein what they did with Donald Trump. With I believe it was the Mueller report. Russiagate, 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 Russiagate. He's a Russian agent. The Mueller report comes out. He specifically says, we do not have any evidence that this guy is a Russian agent. Nobody cares about the apology. They care that you said it. It's just like when you call somebody a racist. I mean, if you are up to date with the propaganda, they just throw all these terms around very loosely. The allegation... Actually, here's a better one. The Me Too movement. When you get ousted... I was one letter away. When you get ousted as a rapist, right, or a predator, and not the good alien one, there's no recovering, even if you're innocent. Deshaun Watson's the perfect example. He has been... They didn't even... In front of a grand jury, they dropped all the charges. Now he's going through some of his civil suits, and I believe the last update was 20 of them were settled. There's like 4 left, I believe. But I believe there's 26 accounts. That's a whole messy situation. But if there was never enough evidence to prove that this gentleman was a predator, Deshaun Watson will not go around the NFL anymore without being called a predator. That label will stick with him for the rest of his career, even though he has not been proven, innocent until proven guilty. He has not been proven to be guilty. They do the same thing with these young kids, and it's really sad. They do this with the racist label. They do this with the neo-Nazi label. But their platform and their words... But here's the white pill in all this. Here's the optimism. More Americans, and just people in general, I shouldn't even just say Americans, are waking up. They are realizing these people are filthy liars. When you watch the White House press secretary try to finagle her way into, we're not in a recession. This is not a recession. Inflation is not as bad as you think. Tell that to my wallet. My wallet has a completely different story, and why don't you tell Chase that? Why don't you tell Bank of America that? Or KeyBank, whoever you decide to bank with, wherever you store your money. Tell it to them. If this is so not real, why am I buying the same amount of groceries and they're costing me $20, $30, $40 more? Why am I getting the same gasoline? Same amount. Why is it costing me $40 more? If all of this stuff are just conservative talking points, recession's not real, inflation's not real, we don't have a border issue, the MAGA movements are domestic terrorists, January 6th was as bad as a tragedy as 9/11 and Pearl Harbor, which they didn't even bring up the Oklahoma City bombing. I would kind of put that in there too, but, who cares at that point? January 6th. 4 people died of natural causes. Let's not forget. If you're not seeing what they're doing, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what else you need. They're trying to tell you everything is okay. They're trying to paint the enemy as people who do not submit to their to the cathedral. And like I said earlier, the right wing always makes it about the Democrats. The Democrats, the Democrats, the Democrats. Democrats make it out to be the right wing, the Republicans. Well, and I mean, I hate the binary. You know, you're if you have this thought on the trans issue, you're left wing, therefore you believe everybody needs their pronouns in their bios, you need to announce your pronouns beforehand, you believe in communism. No, people are so much more nuanced than that. Especially in a way, I don't believe the binary is as bad about abortion as people make it out to be. I have my opinion on abortion. I'm not going to get into that with this article, but if you listen to one side, the other side's just trying to abort a 9-month-old, whereas the other side will tell you this baby inside the womb is killing the mother almost every single time, and you just gotta, you gotta kill it. It's a parasite. And it's not as polarized. I believe it's not as polarized as a lot of people make it out to be. Well, the corporate press makes it out to be. I'm not going to defend any of the violence from either side. Violence is never the answer. It's disgusting. But if you were somebody who really wanted to make a difference, and this is what you watched, right? You watched The View. And these people are telling you, yeah, there's all these neo-Nazis at this gathering in Florida. It's just like a grand old Klan rally. And like most 99.9% of Americans absolutely despise Nazis and what they did, and the Klan and what they did. And you're maybe not mentally sound. Why wouldn't somebody go to this event thinking they're going to slaughter Nazis and kill these innocent people? And all the blood on the View's hands, that'll never be addressed. This is what I'm afraid of. And this is why we have to stop giving these people credibility. This is why, in hindsight, we don't need the corporate press. We don't need government in a lot of ways, because the government says the same things that they do. And thank God, with all of its evil and bad things about it, thank God we have the internet. So people can look at this and be like, okay, what really happened? What do these people really think? If there was no internet and you just saw this on TV that there was a Klan rally out in Florida and you really wanted to make a difference, you thought that there was a lot of cruel, unjust, injustice in this world, why wouldn't you gather up a group of people and go to this group? Especially with where we are with the political tension nowadays. We have assassination attempts on quote unquote political leaders. The Prime Minister of Japan got shot with a freaking zipper gun. A zip gun. Zip shotgun. We are entering into a very violent time. And I know there's a lot of talking heads or talking beanies that loved, they don't love, they they fuel the talk of civil war, right? Like, we're going to have another civil war in this country. And it's like, you could genuinely make the argument that we're more violent now than we ever have been in those times. At least then was an all-out war. Now, with the political violence is ramping up, our violence in this country is already very high. And it's not getting, doesn't seem to be getting any better. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say it's going to get worse the more gun control is enforced. La-di-da. So, you look at this, neo-Nazis were out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs and, the Nazi swastika and a picture of a so-called Jewish person with exaggerated features, just like Goebbels did during the Third Reich. It's the same thing, right out of this same playbook. And I also love the self-awareness. They act like they don't do this with white people calling them racists. But you could argue it's the same thing, just on the other side. Or they don't do the same to Donald Trump, who is orange. They don't make caricatures out of him. If this really happened, I'm not defending this, but I just want to point out the hypocrisy in this statement. This is mad. But it's amazing. We have to look at this as a win. Not that we want the Republicans to win. They are afraid. Whether you believe in the legal system or not, they are showing the people right here that they're downright liars. If you saw somebody discriminate somebody on the basis of race, yet you couldn't prove it, but you saw it, you would say something. You would have the gumption and you would have the conviction to be like, you know what? Maybe you guys don't believe me, but I know what I saw. Well, if this is such a pro-Nazi rally, where is that? Once somebody brought in lawyers and defamation, which is a very hard thing to win anyways, defamation, slander, and libel, you backpedal. You gotta love it. This is good. This is great for the pro liberty cause. It's just great. We have to take this as a win, folks. They are showing. Oh, that's the end of the article. It's not a big article. These propagandist establishment talking heads, they're losing. We the people are winning. We have to remember that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. That's the end of this article. Tell me what you think. Whether you agree, disagree. Share your thoughts. I know I said I wanted to try to upload daily. That's still my goal. I really want to try to upload at the very least 3 times a week. My goal is typically between 5 to 7 times a week. Just depends on the news cycle. Like, to me, this was the only important thing that came out within the past couple of days since that cannibalism article. Still can't wrap my head around. But go ahead, share this video, like it, subscribe. I don't want to tell you what to do. You're free people. All right. God bless. Peace.